slower rate without losing control. Fear is you giving away control to something that you don't understand, but without you knowing, it has the power to define the truth. That's why so many humans struggle with the unknown. History has shared the same stories through centuries, with human beings fighting snakes, dragons, demons, and God, to show you what it's like to have the power to stand up to your fears and defining it. It all comes down to control. So for humans to overcome the need to control everything, humans need to understand the power of letting go. For example, letting go of the belief that fellow humans need to treat you a certain way, respect you, understand you, and most importantly, see you a certain way. Nothing is obligated. You're a unique being, processing light at your own rate, traveling at your pace, or trying to win a race that can only end in one way. You will create the notion that you can shape anything and everything to your ways. You end up finding that chaos will arrive and will challenge your ways. It will start by showing you that you will never be able to accomplish a perfect world because you can never be alone. There's always something that will never bend to your ideologies. You will need to come to peace with the notion that the world is here to be shared with others. But some will continue to believe that they can change the laws of the universe through the material world. To prevent the need to share control with others, they will create labels to prevent you from any control point and what it's like to see the truth. They are so afraid to be seen for what they are that they will rather destroy the world before letting others see them for what they are. These humans are afraid to be alive, and they are afraid to die. The fear of death and living comes from the unknown of what happens next. Most humans have never stopped to think what is death and what it's like to be alive. Throughout history, some humans from all over the world have differently explored these notions. Humans had different opinions of what is death and what it's like to be alive. I highly recommend you look these up. It is up to the individual to define their truth. And what is your truth of what it's like to be alive and what it's like to be dead? And what it's like to be dead is 100% up to your decision. Some might classify what is to be alive through the flesh, through the soul, and through the spirit. The same applies to what is death. Then they describe the entities they experience through the flesh, the soul, and the spirit, and how they have explained to them what is death and what it's like to be alive. They have each chosen to define what is the truth and how to control it. If you can master the understanding of the flesh, the soul, and the spirit, you can have the ability to come and go as you please. You can travel between worlds without losing your timestamp of any body you chose to use. And by body, I mean the flesh. That is why so many humans have so many gods, because these entities can do things that humans cannot accomplish based on their levels of understanding. And some falsely idolize them or worship them and see them as gods. That's why all over the world we have gods. Essentially, people worship something because it made them believe something different from their understanding. Humans have the ability to go up and down from any dimension as they please. This is one of the gifts that they have stolen from humans, because if you connect to all the versions of yourself, you will never be a slave to any system. When I say stolen, I mean they have intentionally destroyed it or rewritten to a form that it doesn't work for the light. In order to lose your fear, you need to be one with the light. Right? So if they destroyed their connection to the light, that means you cannot understand what are your fears. The moment you're one with the light, the darkness doesn't stand a chance. Demons will shake in fear the moment they hear your name. All the colors will appear again, like the rainbow where we all came. In order for humans to upgrade themselves as a whole, they need to face their fears, such as demons, darkness, anxiety, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. You need to overcome that in order to upgrade yourself, because if you can't overcome that fear, you cannot move on to the next step in life, the next world, the next dimension, the next time and space, or whatever you believe is your next upgrade. Those fears need to be put out of you in order to operate correctly in the next realm of understanding. Doesn't mean you will never fear anything again, because we will always have new obstacles and challenges in the journey. It's what keeps us balanced. The challenges and obstacles can be processed in a variation of ways. The most common is known as flight or flight. Fight or flight mode becomes active the moment the flesh senses and processes a threat in the proximity, because humans are very dependent on their senses. They are very easily to deceive. Due to this, I believe that 90% of humans choose to flight over flight, because most humans believe and feel that every obstacle and challenge is life or death. When you choose to flight, you process it as anxiety, depression, sadness, paranoia, trauma, and the list goes on. By you choosing any of these paths, you will end up finding that it will shut you down, because they create negative control points. These negative control points will drag you back down the moment you try to go back to them to ask questions and understand why you feel the way you feel. They never give you the opportunity to study them, because the moment you try to study them, they block you. They don't want you to upgrade yourself, because they only take and never say no, because they will never find a fulfillment point. They are known as parasites and will cause nothing but chaos. There are beings or things or anything you want to call them that only operate in one way. It's a one-way direction. It's a one-way relationship. When you choose to fight, you process it with faith, courage, happiness, balance, calm demeanor, and much more. By choosing any of these paths, you will find a part of yourself. A part of yourself with the light that you never knew was inside you. That light will create a positive control point that you can always go back to as a guide without shutting you down. And not just go back to it, you can go forward. And you could communicate in a way that it guides you in a way where you're going the right way, and you're not being dragged or pushed to only be one way. Use your positive control points wisely, because they can be corrupted. If you don't keep fighting for them, eventually something else is going to go inside your control point and is going to point you in the wrong direction. So be very, very careful with that. Control your chaos, and you will control your understanding. The darkness or the negative points are the parasites. Show them the light. Some humans are either suppressing them or hyper-exposing them. So they are not dealing with them correctly, or should I say, peacefully. You're supposed to meditate. It's the only time where the flesh can communicate with the other two sides in their awakened realm without having one side or more leave the conversation. That is why standing still during the day, specifically the daytime, is so powerful. The sun and the moon are both directly connected with you, shining the full spectrum of light and colors. It's a place of reasoning to have equal expansion without one side taking out the other. You can all communicate without any judgment. This is where you have to decide how you want to live your life. Are you going to be a flight type of human who lives in a bubble and avoids all challenges? Or are you going to be a fight type of human that will face your fears, and maybe you will find the truth?